Good morning, everyone. Welcome to GITAM. I'm Dr. Venu from Department of Physics from GITAM University, and I welcome you all on this satellite event. I would like to ask Dr. Vishwam, our head Department of Physics, to give us some information about Department of Physics.
Respected faculty members. First thing is, I'm a little bit scared about making madam call my HOD, because when I was a student, I used to see the University of Hyderabad board. So when I used to join in the MSc program, at that time being the bomb, Bhatnagar sir, all the people are there in the campus, I will join the MSc program. So I'm scared to talk in front of the great physics faculty in front of you. Yeah, I got an opportunity to introduce you. So I'm thankful to Dr. Ram Swami sir, as well as Professor VC, the Anand sir, as well as the Dean and School of Science Principal, everyone, regarding this workshop. Actually, this workshop will be conducted in Vizag. So during the meeting with the Vice Chancellor, sir, why can't you give an opportunity for Hyderabad campus, so that more faculty are here, so that you can attend. So Swami sir agreed, yes, we should go ahead. So I'm thankful to the Professor Anand sir, as well as Ram Swami sir. Regarding the department concern, we have 17 faculty members. Recently, Professor Ashok Chatterjee from University of Hyderabad, joined as a distinguished professor, is guiding us for every moment. And we have a lot of around 1.7 crore projects from the DST, SER and the DRDO projects. And our research area includes material science, condensed matter physics, theoretical physics, and nuclear physics, and educational research. These are the primary areas we are working now. From the last 3-4 years, we used to have the online teaching. So we used to use this MIT web courses, FET simulations, and Wolfram Alpha. These are all the things we include in the online teaching. I request those who are coming here, so please try to utilize this opportunity for effective teaching in the classroom, because this type of event cannot be occurred everywhere. So there are eminent persons are there in the field, so they will teach you that even I'm also a learner. So we can effectively use this particular methodology, we can implement in the classroom, and we can go for good teaching community. And one more thing is, I'm thankful, I'll appreciate my workforce, my department members to organize this event, especially Dr. Saititi and Venu and all the team members. So they have done this event successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vishwam, for giving us the brief about our department. I would like to call Professor Dattatri, whom we fondly call as Professor Dattu, to tell us about the School of Sciences.
Good morning to everyone. It's nice to see a lot of people sitting here on a Saturday. Right, so it's a Saturday, at least GITAM doesn't work on Saturday, so for having all of you here, I congratulate all of you for coming here. So, online teaching is something that was not a part of our way of teaching, but COVID came and said this is how we have to teach. And through that we learned a lot of things about how good a teacher we are or how bad a teacher we are. Because at the end of the day, engaging the students is important. So this online teaching taught us certain things about our students, how grabbing their attention is important. So I'm very thankful for Ram Ramaswamy sir for arranging this meeting or this workshop on teaching physics effectively online. And even though it says teaching physics effectively online, I think there is broader learning to it. It's not just for physics, it's in for any education, whether it be chemistry, maths or anything it might be, how to teach effectively online. And there is some learning we can take, not just from learning online, even physically if you interact with students, how we can do. And there's a big panel of experts in their domains who have come here. I wish the program a lot of success, and the next one day, I think we could do it for 2-3 days also, but getting everybody on one room one day is difficult. So the team has put together an effective panel of people who can give this topic a good push, and I wish the program all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dattu. Now I would like to call Professor Madhurima, the convener of the workshop, to say a few words.
Good morning, one and all. It's a great pleasure to be standing in front of you today for this event. Formally, regarding the event, Professor Ram will be introducing it, but on my part, there are a couple of things that I thought we should place on record. First of all, thanks to ICWIP23 for arranging the satellite event, Professor Ram for taking the entire initiative to get it done. In person, he was insistent. He is being missed today. He is unwell, so he's not here. And we have one more small change in the schedule for today because one other speaker is not well. So the titles of the talks remain. It's just that we have a small shift. The technical education will be done by Professor Samrat Sabat from University of Hyderabad. On behalf of all the organizers, would like to profoundly thank him for accepting this at very short notice. And I will be speaking on gender and geography intersection. So that's just for the record. The titles remain the same, just a minor shift in the speaker list. So in addition to ICWIP, of course, the lovely facilities that have been done here would not have been possible without GITAM's full contribution, for which we are extremely thankful to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dayanand Siddhavattam, the Pro VC at Hyderabad, Professor D.S. Rao, Dean Sciences, Professor K.S. Krishna, of course the Principal, Professor Dattatri Nagesha. Very importantly, the Director of Strategies, Manjula Rao, who has helped us a lot in getting this entire thing planned at the initial stages, which we really owe a lot to her. And of course, the two co-conveners, on paper Sai Preeti, and of course in practice Sai Preeti and Venu, who have been the backbone behind this entire program. Thank you very much for this. And without much further ado about the whole thing, I will now invite Professor Vanna Nanal to speak about the ICWIP program and JIPWG. Thank you.
So, thank you. First of all, I'm very happy to be here. Neha is there, so she's my former student who's a faculty here, so that was one of the reasons also, I guess, that I felt very familiar about the place. And thank you, GITAM, for organizing this event. So I guess most of you are familiar with the IPA, but let me just take a couple of minutes to talk about the IPA gender group. So Indian Physics Association was established more than 50 years ago, 1970, and with a lot of sustained effort from senior women scientists. And I'm glad Professor Bindu Mumbai is here today in the audience. She's one of the proponents of this. The Gender in Physics Working Group of IPA was established in 2017. The motto of the group as it is for promoting gender equity, creating awareness, collecting data and improving the system, with a goal that one day the need for the group will cease to exist. JIPWG, since its inception in 2017, has undertaken many activities. Of course, IPA has a web page, JIPWG has a web page, so you can look at more activities and know more about the group. I'm also very happy to see in the audience that actually it's a mixed audience, because that's what it should be. It should not just be the women, because if we want to progress as a community, involvement of everybody is very important. So the gender group was, as I said, was founded in 2017. Professor Prajwal Shastri was the founding chair of the group. She is now currently the president of the, vice president of the IUPAC's working group, and my colleague will tell you more about it. So we had a first meeting in ICTS in 2019, and then 2018, and in 2019 in Hyderabad itself there was another meeting, Pressing for Progress, which was also very well attended by over 200 people, and that kind of set the tone for the JIPWG. The outcome, the deliberations were come out in a form of a Hyderabad charter, which again you can see on the webpage. This is a set of recommendations which are thought of, and so that we hope the policy makers would definitely take that cognizance of that. Subsequent to that, also because of the pandemic, a lot of online options opened, and we initiated a program called PAUSE, which is the program for aspiring women scientists. So these are interactive workshops which can happen in person or online. Basically in interacting with young researchers, in teaching them about or dealing with, making them aware about combating biases and things like that. And so, one of it is also activity will be the satellite workshop, tomorrow's meeting. More recently, we have initiated a national survey for looking at gender statistics in various aspects, like the women faculty or the even the department statistics, colloquia statistics, conference statistics, because some of these things, the data is very important. Otherwise, unless we have numbers, it is difficult to make any point. So as I said, we can, anybody who is interested can talk to me more about it, or you can see more information on the webpage. Since we should get to the main event, I want to be brief. And this, all this background work of the Gender in Physics Working Group and a lot of support at various levels from India helped us in making a bid for International Series Conference, and we have now, not only our bid was received, we are now planning a conference which will commence on Monday. And so now I think I'll request Professor Shubhabriti to tell you more about ICWIP. And so before I stop, I would like to say the motto of the group is to work towards gender equity and gender harmony. We all are familiar with the pH of all the fluids. Maybe we should have for all departments a GH index, gender harmony index.
Thank you, Vandana, and very glad to be here in the GITAM University, and I want to thank the organizers, Madhurima, Ram, and Sai, Preeti, and Venu, so for arranging all this. And so as Vandana said, that we are going to organize the International Conference on Women in Physics, which is starting from next week for the whole week. Now this is the conference of IUPAC, the International Union of Physics and Astrophysics, and back in 2000 they thought of the need of organizing such an event worldwide, and first conference was actually held in Paris in 2002, and this is the 8th conference. India has been involved in this conference series from the very beginning, and Indian contingent. So here what happens is, from each country you send a team. So the participation occurs like this, and India has participated as a country team since 2002, and many senior women scientists, physicists in India have been involved with this. And all these conferences, attending these conferences led to the thought that, whether we should have such a thing in how to disseminate those discussions in India, and how to spread it among more people. And from that, the Gender in Physics Working Group was established in 2017, as was mentioned. So already when we held the Pressing for Progress conference in Hyderabad, then it was somewhat based on the ICWIP idea, but we also had some other components in it. So when this bid came, then we thought maybe we can go for the bid, because it's online, it's little easier, because for offline, you need a lot more funding. And as she said, our bid was successful. That is about about April 2022, April or May, and since then we started planning about it. So one of our ideas was to take this opportunity and to spread the awareness all over India as much as possible. So in addition to ICWIP, we organized a lot of hybrid events, and to start with, we are organizing a series called Pavinari, Padartha Vigyan Ki Nari, and one of the talks in this series has been given by Professor Bindu Bamba in Hyderabad. And so here we are having talks on eminent women scientists who did not get their due credit. So that is one series we started. We had an event in NPL, we had one event on the SNU, the Shiv Nadir University, on MCQ test, and now we have the event here. And in ICWIP 2023, there are 70 countries which have registered. We have total 500 participants, and 80% of this is women. And 200 Indian participants are also there. This will consist of plenary sessions, then poster sessions on from physics as well as gender in physics, and posters depicting the country's status in the gender issues, and we also have many interactive workshops. So I think that ICWIP has given us a global platform to discuss these issues and also a greater reach to spread awareness, and I hope that we continue from here to make a visible difference. Thank you. Now I would like to request Professor Ram Ramaswamy to start his lecture. Ram, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And good morning to everybody. It's unfortunate that I can't be with you in person, because this was something that we had really wanted to bring about. First of all, let me also add my words of thanks to various people over here. First to Vandana and Shubhasati for having got us the ICWIP conference in India. I think it's a very important step for gender rights. This is something that a lot of people have been working for a lot of time, and the names are far too many to mention, but I think that we will all remember ICWIP in India in 2023 as a moment from which I think a lot of energy can be drawn. I would also like to thank the GITAM administration and the GITAM faculty for participating so enthusiastically. Madhurima has already mentioned the names of people who have helped us. Professor Dayananda, old colleague from University of Hyderabad, Manjula Rao, and many others, including the leadership at GITAM Hyderabad. Right. Let me start by trying to share my presentation over here. So let me just get things going. Now, the reason for this particular workshop was twofold. One is that the entire conference of ICWIP is actually an online conference that will start on Monday next and occupy the rest of the week. But in conversation with various other people who have been worrying about such problems, we felt that it was important to actually discuss the process itself. I know the fact that the conference is online gave us an opportunity to address this issue of whether the online space is as gender neutral as people think about. And as you notice, many of the people who are involved in these activities are in academics, so it seemed like a very natural thing to discuss how teaching and communication has changed in the last few years, and especially in the context of this of the National Education Policy of 2020. So this entire day's workshop is really about teaching effectively, and questioning the kind of space that the online classroom has become. As we know, the NEP 2020 was approved by the cabinet in 2020, although it was formulated prior to that date. The importance of the year 2020 is not lost on any of us. That was the year our lives changed completely with the pandemic. I mean, there's already Dattatreya has mentioned, we had absolutely no idea of what was hitting us, but the National Education Policy had already discussed many of the issues relating to the future of education in India. Now, it was adopted in the cabinet, and it has already been adopted by many universities, including, I should mention, GITAM, which has realigned its educational program to the national education policy already. And many universities are going to have to do that. Now, the NEP 2020 has been adopted, but the community has not had enough of a chance to react to it, as I will discuss in the rest of this lecture. Because the NEP has rethought the university and it's sort of suggesting that we need large multidisciplinary universities and colleges, faculty and institutional, large faculties, and a certain amount of autonomy, but inside a very, to my mind at least, a somewhat rigid framework. This impacts actually all of us because by having the meeting in Hyderabad, we have people from the IITs, from the universities. I hope there are people from Osmania University and its colleges. So all this is going to get impacted by the new education policy, the national education policy. And one of the bylines of it is increased access, equity, and inclusion. Now these are nice words, but how does one implement them? One of the things about the NEP which is causing a lot of concern, and I know that all of our universities are worrying about it, is that there are going to be multiple entry and exit points in these programs. So there's going to be 4-year undergraduates with exit after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on and so forth. There may be a master's for some time, but master's is almost certainly going to go. And eventually, all this is going to lead to, hopefully, more equity and more inclusion and so on. So what are the opportunities that this NEP brings about? One of the main things is that they talked about, and remember that this was done before the pandemic, so many of the statements made in the NEP about online education was done in a sense without real experience. The policy called for carefully designed and appropriately scaled studies to determine how the benefits of online education can be reached. So they would like to use